he's a guy that comes in, he's got this, I guess, it's a special role with this team. He comes in and just seems like he has a really positive attitude about the whole situation. He brings energy when he comes into the game, and you guys end up scoring points when he is in that red zone package. I mean, how unique is it for a guy to really kind of embrace a unique role like that and have such a positive attitude?
Yeah, he's been great, and you know, we didn't, as you know, we didn't do a lot in the transfer portal this past year, mainly because we had so many guys come back that were on the team already. So, but so glad to get he and Jacob both, you know, join us on the offensive side, and both of them are great young guys. Brandon's got a great attitude, really good work ethic, and they jumped in June and really kind of ascended. You know, they really stood out in terms of the way they work, the competitiveness, and yeah, so he's done a good job on the field too. More importantly, as we transitioned into August, he's had a lot to learn, like all of us have with the new offense, but he's done a really good job with that. And you know, he's got some attributes that maybe Kate doesn't have, which we thought would be, you know, potentially impactful and helpful for us. So you know, happy about what he's doing so far. We'll see if his role, you know, can grow and increase, but doing a really good job.
Mitch KJ, I wanted to go back to Saturday. Drew and his team shared the post-game video from the locker room, and Jay giving you the game ball for number 200, and he said he's 5 away from Woody Hayes. I'm guessing you're not telling them where you are in the pantheon of Big Ten wins, but what does it mean to you that this team knows where you are and the history that's on the table?
Yeah, I mean, not to be a, you know, I'm gonna say smart ass, but I'll say smart aleck. But I mean, you can't help it, though. I mean, all this stuff is out there, I guess, all the time. So, you know, it'd be great to get all these things done just to get them done. But I just, you know, as I said the other day, I feel fortunate to be in a good place. It takes a lot of, you just have to have a lot of things fall in place, you know, to have something like this happen. And a couple of thoughts. I mean, you know, first of all, I never got into it for that. Got into it because I like being around young people, and I still want to retire as a line coach. Like, that's my real secret dream, because that's what I enjoy as much as anything, just coaching guys in a smaller room. But you know, I've learned to love this job too. You know, it's a different job, and there's some things about it that are really neat and cool. But you've got to be in the right place, and you got to be with the right people. As I said the other day, that's one constant. And if Coach Hayes were still alive, I'm sure he'd say the same thing. It's just, you know, you got to be around good people, and so I feel very fortunate in that regard. And, you know, we'll see. And yeah, the little caveat. I mean, after year one, or when we were 2-18, because the body count was out there weekly. Nobody would have envisioned that, so kind of go back to Will's point about you just never quit.
Elliot,
Hey Kirk, Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Beacon. I wanted to ask a couple questions about Dayton Howard.
Yep.
I know you guys were his only offer across the board, no D2,
yep.
no D3. So I guess what made you decide to pull the trigger when other schools wouldn't? And secondarily, I know you said he's a pretty solid prospect. I guess what is giving you that level of encouragement and maybe looking towards the future for him?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't know that nobody offered him. I mean, maybe I'd reconsider on that. You know, it's like most of our players when they come in. It's really, this is very different and very new to them, and it's just the way it is. I mean, it's a big step, and if our guys go to the NFL, they experience the same thing. Things happen a lot faster, and just, you know, it keeps coming at you. So, you know, but he came in and did a good job last year. Nothing to distinguish himself, good or bad, but did a good job, very solid. I was actually in there right now, the one flashback, that last practice we had out there in the spring. I mean, you have little things that you remember about players. He made a couple plays, I think, but one in particular over on our bench sideline that it was like, maybe he's getting it, you know, that type of thing. It was just one of those aha moments, if you will. And then he's had ups and downs since then because he's young. He's going into his second year. He's not developed physically yet like he will be. But we've seen good attitude, and we've seen a guy who just shows up and works hard. So it's good for him to have some experience on the field. That's, you know, again, you can't hand that to anybody. They've got to experience it and go out and do it. So good for him to be involved in a play like that. Good learning experience at the end of that play, because, you know, he can't do that either. And but that's part of the road. But we're encouraged because he's got a good attitude, and he's got some good ability. So, you know, why other people didn't recruit him, I'm not sure, but we're glad that we did.
Adam Jacoby, Hawkeye Beacon. You as an offensive line guy were probably pretty impressed by how the line played against Washington. I know PFF graded them as the highest offensive line for the week. And I know coaches don't really love PFF.
I'm not laughing at you. Okay? I'm standing here thinking about how glad I am when my 6 years in the NFL, there was no PFF. Because nobody, as far as I know, no experts were evaluating my work every week except for my boss. So, anyway.
But they graded out especially well in pass protection. Do you think that was their best week of pass pro this season?
Yeah, I think it was our team's best day out collectively, and yeah, I think it was we're improving up front, and we were all cautiously optimistic again because we're more veteran, we're a little bit more developed than we've been. We've gone through a couple tough years, and up front, for nobody's fault, it's just how it's going. So I think we're closer to being where we want to be, and it's fun to watch the guys' confidence starting to grow a little bit, and they deserve it. I mean, they did a good job Saturday. They really did. We had a lot of respect for the defense we were up against for obvious reasons, and thought our guys met the challenge and pushed. And this is going to be a different type of challenge, but another challenge nonetheless. With a lot of good defensive teams in this conference.
Chad Lice, Dakota Des Moines Register. On the outside, see some similarities to the 2008 team. You had a little bit of quarterback iffiness early in the season. Great running back performance. A 1-point non-conference loss. We'd like to have back probably. And trip to East Lansing to boot. Do you see any?
Didn't go so well.
Yeah, I didn't want to really. Do you see any similarities? I guess how this team is wired, not necessarily those things, but just sort of like because that 08 team certainly is one of your better stories.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's one of my favorite teams to work with. It really was, and it's kind of like what I said. I said to Caleb the other day about you're off to a great start, and at this point, that's pretty doggone good what he's done. But Sean Green did it for 12 games plus one, and so that's the race we run. I'll remind guys. I mean, it's we were sitting pretty good in 12 at the six same record actually. And, after 6 games, next 6 didn't go so well, and I can say the same thing about 06. I think we were 1-5 down the stretch. So it's week to week, and this is a week to week league. That's part of the challenge of playing in a conference like this. Is how can you meet the challenge each and every week? It's different as they are, but so far, yeah. I mean, the attitudes have been really good, and now the question is, can we maintain it for a couple more months here, knowing that it's going to be we're going to hit some walls here. So how are we going to push through that and keep going?
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. Kirk, I think Aiden Childs was voted a captain before his first game as a true freshman. I don't really know how many players around the country are doing that. But he's a guy with a lot of different attributes, but something that strikes me is when a play is broken, he'll do everything to kind of make a play downfield. How important is it for your defense to stay in their keys and stay aligned, knowing that there could be opportunities at hand?
You just said it. I mean, it's exactly what you have to do. You have to stick with your position and stick with your responsibilities. And if you're in the back end especially, you can't be coming out of coverage because the guy looks like he's pulling it down, because he can do both, certainly. And to be voted captain as a newcomer, that's pretty impressive. It tells you a lot about the way he carries himself. And just talked about Brendan being here for a couple months, and everybody respected him to the highest level, so it looks like the same thing there. But that's what you hope for with a quarterback also, is a guy who's got that, not only a good player, but the right demeanor and leadership capabilities. We got to watch him when we were preparing for Ohio State. That's the first time we saw him, and he's a really dangerous player. He can hurt you a couple different ways.